So Cody, I'm looking forward to hearing your voice. And you could also share your screen if you'd like. If not, I'll show your website. Are you there, buddy?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, Cody, how are you?
Excellent, Dale. If I could, it's a good thing I'm a technology guy, right? If I could
Yeah, you are. So you were able to figure it out? All right.
Slowly.
All right. I was showing your website, and you, Jay Leno with his arm around you.
Yeah, I actually was. I actually, after I left Fox, I had done the Tonight Show at the height of the financial crisis, and Jay and I and his producers hit it off, and
yeah,
I actually signed and became the first ever Wall Street correspondent for the Tonight Show. But everything I did was so, and again, it was I did a couple of segments for them, including one where I made fun of the bailouts of the banks, including naming Goldman Sachs and AIG.
I think we're kindred spirits. We both love the markets and figuring out the jigsaw puzzle, but we also like turn on when a mic or a camera lights up and enjoy expressing ourselves and being a personality. Am I reading you right? Are we kindred spirits about that?
We are, but I will tell you, I burned out on TV. I did 528 episodes in 2.5 years of that happy hour show on Fox Business, and hundreds of episodes as Larry Kudlow's sidekick before that. And I moved home to New Mexico, and I don't do TV. I haven't done it in 5 years, 6 years now.
Where are you at in New Mexico, Cody?
I'm in a beautiful mountain oasis town called Ruidoso, New Mexico, in southeastern New Mexico.
Oh, nice. Okay, I noticed you're on.
You can just kick on the camera. I'm not going to be, at least for now, I'm just talking, and maybe I'll have you switch over to my...
Yeah, that's fine. You don't need... Yeah, you don't need... so you're showing your website here. Before we get to, how people could work with you, Cody, I just want to talk markets with you a little bit. And I know that you did embrace this bull market. You've done well in this blow-off, melt-up, whatever you want to call it. But I have a couple of questions. Are certain things bothering you, like the lack of participation of the financials, the oils, and now the Russell?
A lot of things bother me. So let me be clear. Okay. I've been listening a lot lately just to, CNBC, Fox Business, and reading. Every day I read all the newspapers, and I've been calling some of my hedge fund manager friends and ex-hedge fund manager friends, and partly because there's a lot of things that that just seem so bullish still, and I'm trying to find the next black swan. I'm trying to find something to really be worried about, and things like lack of participation of various sectors comes up. Retail was one of the ones that came up yesterday when I was talking to an ex-hedge fund manager, and he was desperately trying to find reasons to be bearish because he's been bearish for the last 5 years. And now, now it's too late to join, to cover and sell and buy, I guess. So, the psychology of that is partly into play. But anyway, the point is that I don't think that the participation argument it hasn't been helpful, and I'm not sure it is yet. You've got these revolutionary companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, NVIDIA, all of which I own, and I've owned for, a nice quadruple, or in Apple's case, a 10,000% return. And these things are still revolutionizing the world. And there's a reason that they're up so much in the last 5 years or the last 10 years in some of those cases. And there's a reason that they're up so much in the last 6 months and continuing to lead the market because they're growing and they're revolutionizing the world, and not just a couple of industries, but across a whole swath of the economy. And that, all that being said, number one, look, I don't think you should be chasing those names at this particular moment. I've been telling my subscribers, if you haven't sold a little bit, 10% of those names, at some point you probably ought to soon or now even be trimming.
Okay. So a little bit of pruning, but that's the maximum. Just prune it. Prune the tree. Prune the tree so the fruit can grow back.
I think that's right. And, you know, just partly portfolio maintenance. That's part of the reason people subscribe to Trading with Cody. A more accurate term would really be investing with Cody, because I invest in these revolutionary companies. I find them before they're discovered, hopefully, as I've done in the names I just mentioned. And I've got others like that we've got in very early on. And then, you know, we hold them for years. Or in Apple's case, in my case, I've held that thing since March 2003.
Any you're looking at that are in more embryonic stage? And let me ask you this. Do you categorize an IPO like Snap as something that's going to be revolutionary, or is it just a toy for the kids?
Well, yeah. No, let me answer your questions on, yes, I've got a couple that I'll mention in a moment that I think could be, you know, potential 5
and
or 10
during this
baggers.
interview, I want you to show also Scutified, which is one of the cooler social community intelligence gathering places on the net that you're a co-CEO.
By the way, what I'm showing you right now, I'll show you Scutified. What I'm showing you right now is Trading with Cody, the chat room. And
right, nice.
You can see it's pretty robust every day. We're in there discussing things. And one of the stocks you'll hear me mention that I think could be another, you know, something you might want to look at getting into, that I think still early on in the game, is Palo Alto Networks. Of course, the day that you interview me, it's up. Here's Scutified, by the way. Of course, the day you interview me, it's up 17%.
I've heard the guys on, some of the guys on CNBC have been covering this too, Palo Alto.
Yeah.
You know,
so we own Palo Alto, and I don't, you know, I don't think it's too late. I think, again, I'm looking for a 5 or 10 bagger, I hope, on this thing. I think it's one of the leading, if not the leading de facto standard network security play company. And I like to own, I think that's a great industry to be in. It's clearly a trend that's growing, network security, the need for network security, cybersecurity, and I want to own the best in class, and I think Palo Alto is at least one of those.
Okay, so they all got a pretty good pump on that recent cyber attack. Do you think that the U.S. needs to do something? Maybe they'll get a U.S. contract from the government, because just like our grid needs upgrading, so does our cyber structure, doesn't it?
Well, you know, it is. By the way, I just kicked out my webcam.
Okay, buddy.
Boy, I've gotten gray.
You've gotten gray, buddy. You don't know what
happens.
This is gray.
I guess Dale.
All right, there's gray, buddy. All right, so don't tell me you turned gray. In fact, you know what? It's silver, and the precious metals look pretty good to me right now. So go ahead, Cody.
Nice segue to the precious metals over your hair. I guess I used to be golden, so I like gold better than silver, by the way.
Well, you know, you always impress me as a maverick on TV. You are a maverick.
Well, thanks. It's something to strive for. Rock star would be another one. Anyway, listen. I don't even remember the topic I was about to hit on with you.
Palo Alto and the cybersecurity in our country that's being.
I don't know that the government needs to be the driving force of protecting our networks, I think it's incumbent upon Google, Apple, Facebook, and, the level 3.
John McAfee.
Yeah, I think it's the companies themselves, and they know that. I mean, there's a competitive advantage to making sure that your data has never been breached, and that's been the case so far for, knock on wood, Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, etc. So that being the case, I think there's a lot of growth in that industry, whether it's government spending or private sector spending, just the need to protect the networks and the internet and cyberspace and your own intranets. And so that's Palo Alto, I think, is another potential play. You asked about Snapchat, and I own some calls on Snapchat dated out, I don't know, 6 or 9 months, I think, maybe 4 to 6 months. I bought them, I don't know, a little bit ago. We're up a little bit on them.
After earnings? After earnings and you took it down?
Well, yeah, we actually bought them when the stock was like $19 3 weeks before earnings, rode them into earnings, and unfortunately I didn't trim and head or, prune like you said, and held them right through it. Then, of course, the next day they were hit hard. But, and I bought 4 to 6 months out, so I was giving myself at least a couple of earnings reports to get through, so it wasn't all hinging upon one earnings report. I don't often like to buy a company that comes public until they've had at least 2, maybe 3 quarters of reporting, and sometimes that means missing a little bit of their early move. In Facebook's case, I had the opportunity to buy the shares on the IPO, and I declined because everybody, I had probably 26 emails and text messages from friends I didn't even know invested in the stock market asking me if they should be buying the Facebook IPO. At any rate, we did end up making Facebook one of my top 3 largest positions in common, and then a few call options long-term, long-dated also when it hit 25 on down to 18. So I feel like a genius on that one eventually. The point of that, the flip side though, I bought Google. I didn't buy on I had the opportunity to buy pre-IPO, as it came in the IPO at $37 a share, I think it was, split adjusted. And I didn't, and then I ended up buying it the first day it traded at paying 25% premium when it opened up on the open market that day. So I'll be flexible, but I don't often buy a company until they've had 2 or 3 quarters of reporting. The reason I own Snapchat call options is because expectations were and still are that they're growing 5% per quarter on their user base. And I just think there's an international and even United States opportunity for them to grow a multiple of that, 3 or 4 times that. They didn't last quarter.
Do you use it and do you use it, Cody?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You use it and put mustaches on your face and funny hats and things like that?
So flip back to my computer screen for a moment. One of the other hats I wear, I'm the CEO and founder of a company called the IM app. Yeah. And we make apps for anybody that is on social media, and mostly celebrities. I have 60 years of producers worth of experience from The Tonight Show who worked with me or for me on this company. And you can see we're bringing in, are you back on my screen, I assume?
Yeah, we are.
So we've got just, Doug Cass, Jim Cramer, Larry Kudlow. I spoke to Larry Kudlow. I just called him actually this week, 2 days ago, because I want him to start promoting his app. And so, anyway,
when I interviewed him before the campaign, he didn't think Trump had a chance when I interviewed him.
I didn't either.
And then he was part of his team. Huh?
Well, Yeah, Larry's done an incredible job of transitioning away from his show, and the Trump factor was a nice trump card for him. No pun intended. At any rate, the reason I say that is because, look, I'm in the app business, man, and these guys, what we do is we take the social media profile feeds for anyone, for Jim Cramer and his website. We take his Facebook, we take his Snapchat and put it, I don't know if Kramer's on Snapchat, but any of our app, I know like Bob Saget, for example, is on Snapchat, and we have the Bob Saget app somewhere in this. We have 170 in the store already. You take, anyway, Bob Saget is on Snapchat, and in his app, it has a screen, the fourth one over says, follow Bob Saget on Snapchat. And so because of that, downloaded Snapchat. I need to know what Snapchat's all about. I'm a technology investor. I'm an app CEO. So yes, I do use Snapchat, but I don't post on it. I don't put any of my own storylines or videos, much like I don't go on TV anymore. But
so these are all your apps. These are all your apps that you're showing here.
Yes, they're verified. We verify, where they're approved by the artist or the, Marshawn Lynch, the athlete. We make sure we meet with their agents, their PR, or the talent themselves, and we get, they say, yes, I want to be on your platform. And then you can log in to the apps themselves, and these guys log in and comment back, and there's a whole community thing going across.
Wow, I think that we have the best FX and CFD research on the net. We have a phone app, and we should talk to you about that, having our app up here, because there's a lot of interest now that the dollar is, now that the dollar isn't a one-way street. And it's my belief that a lot of things that happen on stock exchanges, bond markets, that currencies are the fulcrum and the linchpin that a lot of these other asset classes spin around. What do you think? You probably don't even think about currency, do you?
Oh my gosh, of course I do. Yes, I mean, it's I think last time I might have mocked just the standard macroeconomic. By the way, you can take it back you can put it back on my webcam if you want. In the meantime, I will at least go back to trading with Cody.
So you do care about currency movements. They influence your positions?
Well, I don't care about short-term currency movements, but I think in general, look, as long as the dollar is the reserve currency of the world, as long as it's specifically the petrodollar concept exists, where Saudi Arabia and a lot of other oil-producing countries only accept payment in U.S. dollars, as long as those realities are here, the long-term trend is that the U.S. dollar is always going to gain value versus the other fiat currencies of the world.
But that's not what the chart says, Cody. If you look at a weekly and a monthly chart of the dollar, you'll see there have been intermittent advances, and each advance has put in a lower peak, including the recent one at 104. And if you're interested, you're only interested when there's a trend change. I'm not saying that we're going to be replaced as the reserve currency, but this reserve currency could get a lot cheaper. It's breaking a lot of trends. And if you look at a long-term chart, you'll see lower peaks all the way back from the 1990s. And we could see a serious, our president may get what he wishes for. He wants a weaker dollar, he's going to get one.
Listen, Dale, are you on my webcam or on my computer?
I'm just looking at your page, and you can turn your webcam off anytime. You just click the button.
Well, what I want you to do is be looking at my computer. Do you see what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I see Bitcoin. I see Bitcoin.
That's what I wanted to pull up while you were talking about all the currency things. Look, I think there's a bigger picture in in the currency world versus, forget Bitcoin. I guess that's a little bit off topic versus what you're saying, but except for the fact that
maybe it's not.
Does underscore that it's a fiat currency battle, right? And all central banks and the Republican Democrat regime and the developed economy governments of the world are in this endless battle to devalue their currencies and versus each other. And so it's in some sense a race to the bottom, and they do it as responsibly and slowly as they can, but that trend exists. So when you are, I personally don't think anybody at home should be trading currencies. I think you can follow them and you can get those economic concepts and just sort of think about them and the impact they have on, again, I think there's an endless demand for U.S. dollars, which then helps fuel corporate earnings / stock market and asset bubbles. And that underlying economic reality exists long term. Whether the fiat currencies battle themselves more quickly on this downward spiral that they're in or less quickly, and which ones are going to go up near term or even over the next 6 months versus the other ones, it gets to be such a long derivative from what you're actually talking about, which is these governments and central banks making moves that sort of control and manipulate their currencies versus each other, and then trying to game how the market's going to react to those manipulations.
Right.
It's a very hard game to play. And you're out there trading against the Morgan Stanleys and Goldman Sachs's of the world who have 100% profitable trading days for the last 6 quarters. And that's why they're trading currencies against people at home.
Interesting. So they're bucket shops too. Okay. Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Scutify and how people might be interested in? I see Kiana. I've interviewed Kiana. She's advertising. She's a contributor. Kiana Denell.
Correct.
And she covers FX, right?
She does. And she's a trader
Jesse
of
Colombo,
FX.
Bubble. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Jesse Colombo's on there. A lot of former TheStreet.com guys are on there, from Robert Marson, Jeff Miller, Scott Rothbard. We have, just all kinds of people that are in there all day posting comments, commentary, charts, links, discussing various stocks. There's various channels and discussions, and
nice
people breaking off and having communities built inside of themselves. And you can get real-time stock quotes. You build yourself a stocks that you follow. Where is that? Can never find anything.
Dashboard.
But you see all this crazy stuff on the left side.
Yeah.
Even
nice
the trend 100. Here's the 100 stocks that are trending on Scutify at this very moment.
Yeah.
Don't trade penny stocks. Don't buy marijuana penny stocks.
Okay.
But
Bill Clinton did, but he never inhaled the certificate.
Gary Johnson did, and that was funny, by the way. Well played. But Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico and the Libertarian 2016 candidate for president, was a penny stock promoter for a marijuana company. He was a fake CEO for a few months. Got awarded shares.
Wow. He should have studied his history. He should have looked at a map, though. Huh? So he knew where the Syrian civil war was. Okay, cannabis.
Exactly. But beyond that, here's where he was announced as CEO, and they did a 10-for-1 stock split. Here's the top where I'm sure those guys, insiders, were selling.
Yeah.
Here's
Right.
where they awarded themselves some more shares because they sold all the way down. And here's where the stock is today. And
Okay.
on its way down to where it was before any of that happened. So
Cody,
you
it was a blast.
now.
It was, you know, I know you don't do TV and you're burned out with TV. So it even makes me feel even better that you would take the time to come into a chat room, talk to a few hundred of my community, and you know that you're a humble maverick to take the time out to talk to a little guy like me.
Truly, you know, it's. I gave the commencement speech at Western New Mexico University a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things I talked about is that it's just you always want to pull for the little guy, and you should be much more energetic working with small businesses and people that you know are bootstrapping like you've done it at some point in your life if you're at Western New Mexico University, no matter where you are in your life. And I truly pull for the little guy, and I love the little guy. I'm still the little guy, man. I struggle every day. So
I know you mean, Cody. You know, I live by this. Have you ever heard this? When you're going up the escalator in life, be kind to those going down. One day it could be you.
Exactly right, man.
Buddy?
And Dale, you know, I think, you know, I appreciate the invitation, truly. So thanks.
Yeah, it was great seeing you. And you don't have gray hair. Now you know what gray hair looks like. So everyone that trades FX in here, I recommend you follow Cody at Cody Willard at tradingwithcody.com and check out Scutify. So thank you so much for your time, guys. Cody.
Yeah, and just appreciate it, Dale. Keep rocking and rolling. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. See you, Cody. All right, F.A.C.E members, I'll be here for the early open of the NFP tomorrow. Everyone have a good day. Hope you enjoyed Cody. I did. I had a great time talking to Cody. How about, did you guys enjoy him? Okay, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow for the NFP. 5 minutes before the number, I'll be here. Adios, amigos. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, team. Thank you, F.A.C.E community. See you, Tom.